So XXL has introduced the next generation of future stars, or at least who they believe will be the next generation of future stars. I always like to look at this similar to how you would look at a draft class in sports, where it's a coin toss at the end of the day. There's a lot of optimism and hype, of course, but we don't know who's actually gonna pop off. Some people may go on to do great things, and some players will go on to do great things and live up to their hype and status. Some players may come up short. Some players may be underestimated, and then they surprise everybody and become breakout players. Some draft classes may be very underwhelming and forgettable. Some draft classes may go on to be generational. It just depends, obviously. Only time will truly tell. But I still think this is a fun activity to get into once a year. If you're a hip hop nerd, I think this is a fun activity to get into once a year, just to see, just just to look at the landscape of hip hop and where it's, or at least mainstream hip hop, and see where it's progressing over the years. So you have 1900 Rugrat, Ray Vaughn, Jello, YTB Fat, Ian, Baby Chief Do It, EM Triplin, Samarison, Low Shimmy, Lasers Dim 700, and EBK J Boo. That's the people on the list officially. So out of this list, I was familiar with about roughly 8 people out of 12, which to me, again, that's not an XXL problem. That's not the problem of these artists. That's a me thing. Like, I don't like when you have a lot of fans who, or supposed fans of hip hop, who they always want to be so quick to disrespect these artists by saying like, "Oh, I don't know none of these people." First of all, the point is you're supposed to not know everybody on the list. The whole idea is they're supposed to low key be introducing you to who they believe will be somebody who will be a part of the next wave of artists who are gonna pop off. You're really not supposed to know every single person, of course. So I don't like when people say that, specifically when they say it from a closed-minded standpoint. Like, if I say that I don't know all of these artists, I'm coming from a standpoint of like, yeah, I don't know them, but I'm gonna go check their music out. I'm gonna go give them a chance and see what they got, because they may make music that I rock with. Now that gives me somebody else that I could listen to. Like, there's an open mindedness with that. I don't like when people sneak diss these artists by saying, "Oh, who is this? Who is that? I don't know them." It's like, bro, who cares who? And what kills me about these type of people is the type of people that are so quick to say that. These are the type of people that the only thing they listen to is like the radio. That's it. Like, and anybody who knows how the radio works, the radio stations only play the same like 8 songs for like 6 months straight. So of course you're not gonna know a bunch of these artists who may be featured on this list. But I don't like the closed-mindedness that I don't like the closed-minded mindset that some people have when they say things like that, because it already sounds like you're unwilling to give some of these people a chance. But this is still in my opinion, an interesting list. You have 1900 Rugrat out of Florida, Ray Vaughn out of Cali, Nino Cade. I said Nino Brown. Nino Pade out of the DMV area. Jello, obviously, he's one of the Ball brothers, LiAngelo Ball. YTB Fat out of Arkansas. Ian from Dallas. Baby Chief Do It out of Chicago. EM Triplin out of PA. Samara Sin, I believe she was from like Tennessee or something like that. Then you also have Low Shimmy. You have Laser Zim out of Georgia. EK Boo out of he's also from California. So there's obviously several noticeable people. The first one, of course, is Jello, aka LiAngelo Ball. Jello definitely had a leg up over many of these other artists because his fame is not derived from music. He was already famous from basketball. Obviously, he's one of the Ball brothers. He's the brother of Lonzo and LaMelo Ball. His NBA career has not really panned out too well. He still has had some success in his own right, but he's obviously struggled to maintain a roster spot, which again, it's once you get to that next level in sports like the NBA and the NFL and MLB, it's extremely competitive. It's hard for even some of the best athletes. It's hard for them to get to that top of the top of 1% of players who actually maintain a roster spot. But what was interesting was he pivoted into music Now, the Ball brothers have always had a low-key interest in music. You've seen clips over the years of people like his brother Lonzo freestyling. Like they've always been interested in music. But Jello, over the past couple months, really the start of this year, went super viral within like the hip hop community because of his song Tweaker. It was a song that honestly, it was a novelty song, of course. Like it was a song that was heavily based in the whole appeal of it was based in the fact that it had a very early to mid 2000s vibe to it, so people gravitated to it. You know, people love nostalgia, so it is what it is. This pick kind of feels like that sort of designer kind of pick. If you guys remember designer from 2016, 2017, where it was really like that one song Panda that really got him on the list. Similar with Jello. Jello has multiple songs out, but still, obviously, it's that one song Tweaker that really cemented his spot on this list. I'm not here to say if somebody deserves or doesn't deserve to be on the list. That's not, I'm not really here to have this conversation. I used to have those conversations years ago till I started to understand that it doesn't really matter. Like, if you're on the list, who cares? Like, just enjoy the list for what it is. Then you also have guys like Ian, who I actually like a lot of Ian songs. I think, you know, like I don't listen to it every day, but like there's some songs I think are kind of catchy. Like I can kind of get into that vibe. He is somebody who caught attention a few months ago because Tyler, the creator, he took some shots at what we assume was Ian during an interview when he was talking about a white guy who was making a mockery of hip hop or black music, which I don't personally, I didn't think that's what Ian did. However, I could understand where Tyler was coming from when it comes to him wanting to be a gatekeeper. But Akon's brother, I believe his brother's name is Boo, actually went to bat for him and said like, "Hey, this is my artist, yada yada yada, whatever." But Ian is somebody else from this list who I consider a standout. That's just me personally, obviously, because I've listened to a lot of his songs. Rayvon's somebody else who kind of stands out on this list, mainly because over the past couple months he's gotten a lot of attention for being featured in what I call the hip hop Royal Rumble, where we all know what happened a couple months ago, where Joey Badass was basically whooping feet when it comes to the West Coast, smacking the West Coast upside the head. Yes, I am biased. Doesn't matter. But yes, Rayvon, obviously, he responded. He had some dope tracks like Golden Hour. I thought was dope. Like, so that helped him get a lot of attention. I don't know if it's gonna translate all that well into his own music as far as people paying attention to the music, but it doesn't really matter. It still got the job done of getting him some sort of attention, right? Then also you have YTB Fat, who has a couple songs that I like as well. I also think Laser Dim 700 is pretty entertaining. Like one story that was also interesting was EBK Jabu apparently got arrested on his way to the photo shoot and on his way to the shoot for this cover. So he's not on the cover technically. He's just similar to how Chief Keef in 2013 was just, they just put up basically kind of like a mugshot or whatever and put that on the list. They did the same thing with him. So that's kind of sad to see. Obviously people, you know, you're kind of, I don't know what he got arrested for, but either way it's definitely unfortunate, right? This is a big moment for him and his people, and you're kind of missing out on it, probably for something that wasn't that big of a deal or something that wasn't worth getting into. But that's neither here nor there. As far as people not making the list, or better yet, I want to talk about when people say that it's too late to add certain people, right? Because some people are very quick to say, hey, they shouldn't have this person on the list because it's way too late. It's already been however many years, this person's already popping. I think that narrative is a bit overblown because most artists are not that, just because you like them doesn't mean they're as big as you think they are. So a list like this could always help. Now, you do have rare occasions of artists who legitimately were passed over the first time, and then by the time XXL spun back around to try to get them, they were already too big to even want to be bothered. Really, the two main examples I would say would be like Drake and maybe you could say Nicki Minaj, but outside of that, I don't think anybody else has really reached that status. Like anybody, you can kind of go on the list this year or next year. It doesn't really matter. There's always a debate over whether it's worth it to get on the list, or whether it's worth it to accept being on the list. Some people feel as though, hey, it's not going to help you. It's a waste of time. Some people feel like, hey, if you pass on it, you miss on a big opportunity. I'm more on the side that I would choose to go on the list. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like when people put out like diss tracks to XXL for when they feel like they're snubbed. I think that's kind of funny, but at the same time, I I think for most artists, just for the experience, just for the memories, I think that alone makes it kind of worth it just to go out there and, hey, go take a couple pictures, go freestyle around some artists who are trying to come up at the same time you're trying to come up. I think it's just something that people can enjoy. But that's just me. Like I said, hey, if I was offered to be on a list, unless they specifically did something to disrespect me, I would probably just be like, yeah, sure, I'll try it out. And at the very least, it's kind of like a little thing for your time capsule or whatever, with something you could just look back on and frame, like, yo, remember I was featured on this or whatever. But that's me. I think that would be a fun experience. But let me know. Actually, don't let me know. I'm out.